This is the shuttle's fuel tank. It may only be 130 miles to space, but to cover that distance, the engines will use 500,000 gallons of fuel. And that works out at 2 feet to the gallon. Despite the cost, however, NASA does need to test these engines once in a while. So they built this place in the wetlands of Mississippi. The first thing they installed was a huge loudspeaker, through which they played white noise to simulate the sound of a rocket. They then sent a number of trucks in different directions out into the wilderness, and the drivers were ordered to stop when the noise levels became acceptable. This gave them an imaginary boundary line, and anyone living on the inside of it was offered a simple choice. Stay, and you'll never hear another television program as long as you live. Or take the NASA shilling and get out. No one stayed, and NASA ended up with exactly what it wanted. 125,000 acres of nothing. They even had to move 5 cemeteries, because the noise they were planning on making would wake the dead. Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And, as it turns out, the cleanest. Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you! It's raining! That's unbelievable! Oh. NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
This muddy splish-splosh is now a familiar sound across Indonesia's washed-out communities. After the worst flooding in 6 years hit the Greater Jakarta area earlier this week, the water levels have now started to recede. And things are being put back the right way up and back in their proper place. As a mammoth cleanup gets underway, residents have all been taking stock.
I didn't manage to leave with all of my possessions. I've lost the stall that I run. My house is still there, but the windows and doors have gone.
Here in Lebak, rescue teams have been using a dinghy and a length of rope to pull stranded residents to safety. Around a dozen locals in total are still unaccounted for after the record levels of rain hit the region on New Year's Eve and in the days that followed. Some 192,000 evacuees have been forced to sleep in temporary accommodation, but food and clean water there are running low, and many worry about disease.
My baby gets cold at night.
We're afraid she'll get sick with dengue fever.
Thousands of soldiers and health workers have fanned out to deliver much-needed medication and food supplies, while the government has begun the process of cloud seeding to the west of the capital, where chemicals are sprayed from planes to induce rainfall away from populated areas.